She's been a member of the Masters of Evil, been on numerous iterations of the Thunderbolts, and been a Dark Avenger. Let's get into the video and find out who is Moonstone. Her true name is Carla Sofin. Carla grew up in a lavish mansion, the daughter of a live-in servant family. Carla learned to manipulate others to get what she wanted at an early age, a talent she often used on the daughter of the Hollywood producer who owned the mansion. Carla's father suddenly died of a heart attack, and the Hollywood producer replaced the family with a new family, leaving Carla and her mother homeless. Carla's mother was resilient and determined to provide her with the opportunity for a better life. She worked 3 jobs to ensure Carla was able to attend the best schools and then college. In college, Carla studied psychology, and after she graduated, she opened her own practice in Chicago. Carla was a gifted psychologist, but she was in it for the money, and often strung out her patients' treatment to keep the money flowing. Carla became unhappy with having to depend on having patients to make money and sought out the mentorship of Dr. Faustus, a brilliant psychologist and criminal mastermind. As she learned from Faustus, she used her association with him to develop her own network of underworld contacts. Carla learned of Lloyd Bloch, aka Moonstone, a criminal who had somehow come into the possession of a moonstone that granted him superhuman abilities. Bloch was being held in prison, and the prison board asked Miss Sofin to assist with his treatment. When she was finally left alone with Bloch, she used hallucinogenic drugs to help her convince Bloch that the moonstone had made him into a monster and he needed to reject it. Horrified by what he had become, he rejected the moonstone and gave it to Carla, who then absorbed it and gained the superhuman abilities the moonstone bestowed upon its holder, becoming the new Moonstone. She then offered the services of her newfound superpowers to an organization known as the Corporation. This would lead Moonstone into conflicts with heroes like the Hulk, Captain America, the Falcon, and Quasar. After the downfall of the Corporation, Moonstone had a hard time finding work, so she stole an invention of Curt Connors, aka the Lizard, called the Innervator. She planned to use it to boost her powers and go on a crime spree to grab the attention of potential employers. Moonstone was stopped by Spider-Man, the Innervator was destroyed, and Moonstone was imprisoned. Shortly after being imprisoned, she was broken out by the supervillain Tiger Shark, who had been hired to do so by Egghead. Egghead recruited Moonstone into joining his version of the Masters of Evil. Moonstone and the Masters of Evil assisted Egghead in discrediting and abducting Hank Pym. When the plot was finally spoiled and the Masters of Evil were captured by the Avengers, Moonstone was quick to take a plea bargain. She testified that Egghead had set up Hank Pym, helping clear Pym from his charges. Moonstone was then imprisoned at Project Pegasus, where scientists could study her powers. Project Pegasus later came under attack by the Lava Men, and during the chaos, Moonstone was able to escape along with the criminal Blackout. The Avengers quickly hunted down the pair, but they were able to escape once again, this time into the Dark Force dimension. The duo ended up on the blue area of the moon, where they were defeated by Dazzler and the Inhumans, taken back to Earth, and returned to Project Pegasus. Moonstone and Blackout would later join Baron Zemo's Masters of Evil. The Masters of Evil successfully executed a hostile takeover of the Avengers Mansion for a brief period. But the Wasp was able to free the captured Avengers, and they overpowered the Masters of Evil, forcing them to flee. While trying to get away from Monica Rambeau, Captain Marvel, Moonstone critically injured herself when she inadvertently flew into the side of a mountain, almost breaking her neck. Months later, after she recovered, Moonstone would cross paths with Captain Marvel yet again as she tried to deliver stolen Stark technology to a client. Moonstone was defeated by Captain Marvel and imprisoned at the Vault. She tried to escape during a prison riot, but the Avengers put a stop to the riot. Meanwhile, the original Moonstone, Lloyd Bloch, who was now going by the codename of Nefarious, had gained new powers and wanted revenge against Moonstone. He kidnapped Moonstone as she was headed to court. Moonstone used her ability to manipulate people to convince Nefarious he was in love with her. Her quick thinking stalled Nefarious just long enough for Quasar and Captain America to arrive and capture the duo. Moonstone would later survive a second attempt by Nefarious to get his revenge. Nefarious was brought to the vault, and upon sensing Moonstone, he went berserk and went after Moonstone. The Avengers were eventually able to subdue Nefarious. During the commotion, Moonstone had found a way to escape and was about to bounce, but the Black Widow was able to talk her into staying and serving out the remainder of her prison time. Just as Moonstone was content to serve out her sentence, she was reluctantly broken out of the vault by Baron Zemo's Masters of Evil. Zemo offered her a chance to join him in his plan to take over the world. At that time, most of the world's heroes had disappeared, and Zemo saw it as an opportunity. He was reorganizing the Masters of Evil to pretend to be a new team of superheroes that would be known as the Thunderbolts. Moonstone hesitantly accepted his offer and donned a new costume and took on the new codename of Meteorite. Baron Zemo would become Citizen V, the Fixer became Techno, Goliath became Atlas, Screaming Mimi became Songbird, and the Beetle assumed the codename of Mach 1. With the shortage of heroes, the Thunderbolts were able to quickly become a popular superhero team. The group would later add Jolt, a novice hero, to the team. Jolt was unaware that the members of the Thunderbolts were all supervillains just pretending to be heroes as part of a scheme. The Thunderbolts continued to act as heroes, gaining the trust of government officials, which was all part of Zemo's grand plan. What Zemo hadn't planned for was Jolt's passion and exuberance for being a hero becoming infectious, leading to some of the members of the Thunderbolts starting to like being heroes. So when Zemo was granted the top secret access he was after, he outed the Thunderbolts, revealing to the world they were really the Masters of Evil, leaving them no choice but to stay loyal to Zemo and carry out his plan. But Meteorite, aka Moonstone, and her teammates that wanted to reform turned on Zemo and were able to foil his plan. After being outed, Meteorite returned to using her codename of Moonstone and led the Thunderbolts in their quest to prove that they were reformed. The Thunderbolts continued to fight crime while having to elude the authorities as they were wanted criminals. The gem inside of Moonstone's body grants her superhuman abilities. She has superhuman strength, reflexes, stamina, durability, and speed. She can fly, project laser-like blasts from her hands, become intangible, and can temporarily blind her foes by emitting a blinding luminescent light from her entire body. Moonstone is a skilled psychologist, a master manipulator, and is fluent in English and Kree. Well, that's the origin of Moonstone, who continues to adventure in the Marvel Universe. As always, I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy day to stop by the channel and check out this video. Please smash that like button and drop a comment down below. It really helps out the channel. That does it for this video. We'll see you again real soon, but until then, I'm gone. Peace.